Hello and welcome back to the Metropole Grid. My name is Andrej.
And I'm Patrick Sklar.
And thanks so much for tuning in. This is the second game of the grand finals of the MultiZone Store Championship.
Nadim fought and won the last match, so here we are.
We
Game
have
2.
Gone the distance, all the way through round 8, top 8. The first and second seed did actually prevail. The statistics
That's
work.
true, eh? Yeah.
And so now we have a matchup. On the left, we have Alex. Alex is a world-class player. That is a playmat for winning the Icebreaker tournament of
That's true.
Present year's Worlds.
Yeah. And Nadim is an excellent Montreal class player.
Yes.
Which is great. We have great players.
That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So we are playing NBN. This is NEH. That is the ID I think you got from ANRPC. That was one of the participation prizes. I think it was participation. Maybe somebody won something.
Okay.
And on the right, we have Nadim. So Nadim has been playing Kate forever.
That's true.
And this is the first store championship that we experienced after the Most Wanted list. And Nadim also only recently received an alt-art Kate. And he said, I don't care about this prepaid thing. I'm sticking with Kate. And here we are at top table. Let's see what his Kate can do.
Yeah.
This is also right after Kala Ghoda came out. Mm-hmm. And I think Alex did adapt some of those cards. So we're going to see what those do.
Cool.
I think they have some really strong cards there. It looks like we're going to leave HQ open, put some 2 assets down, while Nadim deals with the mulligan.
Yeah, blocking R&D because, of course, Shaper.
Yeah, Shaper. So, yeah, this is game 2. And that is Nadim came from losers brackets, and he won the first game. So whoever takes this takes the grand finals. You get a plaque. You get a bye for regionals.
Oh, boy.
Which is pretty good. Everyone here already has their playmats. And after a mulligan, we are off. Or it looks like a cut is technically worth doing.
Yep.
So... do you check? That's the thing is, do you check face downs? This seems like a lot of assets already.
Yeah, 2 assets. One of them might be an agenda at this point.
With NBN getting that, or NEH getting that free card draw, there might actually be an agenda in HQ now if there wasn't before.
Yeah.
Not being iced up, that might be worth something.
Okay, we're starting with money, though.
But we are going to start with money, and we are going to start the Montreal Shaper way, which involves the professor shaking a whole bunch of hands.
Yeah.
And we now have some good card draw, some good money. Just let's see if we can keep up with
Astrolabe.
NEH. And with Astrolabe, it just might be able to.
Okay, so there were no agendas out there.
There weren't, and this is the beginning of... This is the first event where I saw the strength of Kala Ghoda, and specifically Mumba Temple.
Mumba Temple, yep.
Mumba Temple rezzed all that stuff for basically free, because you get the credit back from Pad Campaign.
That's true.
And now with more assets, that asset is, if it's an asset, is going to be rezzed for probably free next turn.
Free.
And the problem still remains now is if you want to run Centrals, you want to run then trash the Mumba first.
Yep.
Otherwise, all ices become 2 credits cheaper, and that can be a problem.
That's a good point.
That Astrolabe is going to be a big deal. We're going to get the SMC out. This does look pretty standard in terms of Kate play.
Yeah, the Astrolabe has already drawn him a card. That's good.
So Nadim is not playing prepaid. This is actually the different way he does it, which is, and you'll see in a second how that works.
Okay.
Team sponsorship is going to come up for free, and that is a card that you really want to trash. The fact that the runner or the corp
now he's not rezzing that because he's about to score an agenda.
No,
he's rezzing it because he has the Mumba Temple credit to spend.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the idea is right before your turn starts, if you haven't used the Mumba Temple credits, you can go ahead and use them.
Yep.
You can res 2 credits worth of stuff, even more, I guess. And then they refresh right as your turn starts and you're back in business. So that's the strength of the Mumba Temple. There's already, I think, 2 must-trash assets out there. And the economy of professional context is a bit slow, but with all this for gambles, that's actually a lot of money coming out.
Yeah, it's working out.
So something in the remote, SMC is on the table, so Clot is now going to be threatened. At any point in time, that can come out through the SMC, so you can't really fast advance. It looks like a single ice and SMC out. That is going to be a Maker's Eye. Single Enigma, which is going to be rezzed for 1 credit.
Oh, yeah.
Which is super good with that Mumba Temple.
Yeah, should have run that Mumba Temple first, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you really need to get rid of the Temple. And the problem with running the Temple is then you res an asset right before you trash it.
Of course you do.
Just to get the maximum value. We're going to pop SMC. I think you definitely want to see 3 cards that you've spent your money already on.
Yeah.
And it looks like the answer here is not a Cyber Cipher. It's not a Gordian. It is an Atman at 2.
Atman. Nice.
So this is an Atman deck, which is exciting because I actually haven't seen these played in a while.
Yeah, that's true. I see Atman as like one-ofs in other decks.
Yep, but this is a full Atman build, Atman Data Sucker, which is pretty impressive in a world of AI hate.
Start with the 15 minutes.
Off the top, that's a 15 minutes.
Mumba Temple not worth trashing, apparently.
And an assassin.
assassin.
So now you know another Mumba Temple's coming. An assassin is coming too. So you're going to be able to probably res that for 3 credits.
Yeah.
If those temples stay, and that is a big problem. 15 minutes is definitely an agenda, but not the kind of agenda I think you want.
No, it's not an agenda that sticks around, unless you have an
No.
artist colony coming.
Artist Colony is a good way to deal with that. We're going to put another SMC out.
Okay, maintain the threat of Clot. And things like
Maintain
that.
the
Well, oh no, you're Kate, yeah.
Yeah, you can still do it.
Gets another draw from Astrolabe for installing a server?
Yeah, we're pretty sure that's a temple. The Astrolabe does draw out there. And now you see that Nadim did not charge that remote. That could easily been like a wraparound into an Astro.
Sure.
But it looks like that isn't.
It could have been worse because he's got a lot of money.
Yeah, it could be easily a lot worse. And we're going to put something on R&D. We can assume that's probably the Assassin.
Sure.
That was drawn for free with the new remote. And we're going to keep at our Shaper, just drawing, making
just
credits,
shaking hands.
cards. And the strength of NEH is now R&D lock has already been broken.
Yeah.
In one turn, gone through 2 cards.
Okay,
modding out an R&D interface.
For free. That's not bad.
That's not too bad.
The power
at
of
all.
Kate.
Yeah, that's
Fighting
Kate.
back on that R&D lock.
Gonna res that Mumba Temple for free.
Of course you are.
And so a card in that remote server has not been resed for free or close to it yet.
Interesting.
Which means it could actually be an agenda.
Could be an agenda.
I think if that was Sansan, you might just res that for 2 credits now.
Sure.
That's not a bad price.
3 credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
3. Yeah, 3 credits.
Yep.
Another new server.
The new remote is a Jackson Howard.
Oh, and that's the scary-looking unofficial alt art. Yep.
That is, again, I think Alex has all this nice swag from the ANRPC events.
Yeah.
And that is what Jackson Howard looks like at this point. Mm-hmm. We're going to throw another card into that remote. That could easily be a Sansan into just
an
about
agenda.
anything.
Yep.
And even if you can't fast advance, resing a Sansan for only 2 credits with those Mumba Temples,
Yeah.
and then
you go.
just saving a click every turn, that's really good.
Yeah, it really is. Oh boy.
With an SMC out, we can attack that server. With 7 credits, I might just do it.
Yep. And then that team sponsorship is only going to compound the problems.
Yep. Yeah, team sponsorship is a big problem. Oh, well, there's not actually anything in archives. And that is the frustrating part of spending time trashing things like the Mumba Temple, is that you'll come back.
They'll come back right away.
Right away. It looks like we're going to charge that remote. And toll booth for only 4 credits.
Okay, but he's going to get something with that SMC.
He is. He's going to figure out how he's going to deal with the toll booth. And that is a caprice.
Yeah. So, yeah, resing the toll booth and the caprice at the same time means that maybe Nadim didn't want to trash.
Yeah, so now he
SMC,
can
right?
choose, because technically he had to do all that at the same time.
Yeah.
It looks like Nadim is going to have a thought about it. No matter what, he's going to lose 2 credits using SMC, 3 credits on the toll booth, which I think is already lost.
Right.
So I don't know if you can deal with this and deal with the side game. It might be smart just to bounce. But I guess if you're going to use that SMC anyways, you could get something out.
I'm not sure why.
I don't know what his answer is at this point. A Cyber Cypher is looking pretty okay.
Cyber Cypher would be ideal at this point.
But
Even a David, he might have a David in this deck.
David, I could see working against an admin in an admin deck.
Speak of the devil.
And that is a David, and that David is going to do double duty. We know the assassin is on R&D.
That's a good point.
So at this point that he can run R&D if he gets another Maker's Eye for no credits.
Right.
Oh, I guess 1 credit for the Enigma if you want to run last click.
Right.
But that's going to be all of his money. And with 3 sure gambles down, or I think maybe just 2, that's honestly not the worst thing to see with Proco.
Sure.
Kate's pretty good at working with low credits due to her inherent rebate. And that is definitely a bounce there. No money to play any sort of side game.
Oh, but those are my favorite kind of game.
They're fun games.
Yeah.
And there could easily be an agenda in that server. And with that agenda score, team sponsorship's going to fire. We're going to get some ice probably up for free. Maybe
Probably.
another remote, and that's a card draw too.
Ooh.
This is a ridiculous amount of econ. So far, only a hedge fund has been played, and just the 2 temples and 1 pad campaign just about does it.
Oh, there we go.
So Artist Colony hitting the table.
Cool.
This is, I think, the only card from Kala Ghoda that made it into Nadim's deck. I'm not sure how much
It's certainly
testing.
the big shaper card from Kala Ghoda.
It's really cool. I think this card actually phased out news teams from our meta. I haven't seen them in a long time.
Our meta was very news team heavy.
Yeah, it was. And this kind of helped. I think a bunch of criminals did pack Data Dealer.
Yep. So he's not getting rid of that 15 minutes.
Well, I don't think yet. If you're pretty confident the Corp is going to score at this point,
That's right.
they'll have to sacrifice a whole turn shuffling away.
Yeah, then you can really use that 50 minutes to get something instantaneously,
Yes.
which is helpful.
But you know what? Actually, we are going to use it.
Okay, sure.
So the 15 minutes is turned face down. That doesn't return to archives. That's just out of the game.
Yep.
So now the corporation has one less agenda in their deck.
Yeah, the Corp had their shot and they lost it.
Yeah, that's true. 15 minutes is over. That's going to be a data sucker. I think Hanny in disbelief looked at the card. Get a bit of read on the text. And with the data sucker out and the admin, there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure there's going to be CVSs in this deck, though. So you do have to play around that a bit.
There would be.
Yeah.
There would be.
So you have to be careful you don't face check anything too painful. That's the thing is with a full hand, you can still advance, start that Astro Train, and not lose a card from hand if you don't want to.
Not even.
So that is scored. We have an Astro on the table. SMC is off the table, so we can start fast advancing if that is an option.
Team sponsorship is
install
something,
definitely
right?
going to fire. You can get a new remote, you can get an ice, and it looks like it is an ice on R&D. 2 credits of saving, a click save.
That's right, you don't have to pay to install with team sponsorship.
Pretty good, and we are off. So R&D is probably where this Kate deck is going to win.
Yeah, we've seen one Maker's Eye in hand.
Yes.
There's the R&D interface out there.
So Alex,
but he needs the money.
Alex knows the kind of pressure that this deck can put off, but still decided to put the Caprice on a remote.
Yep.
Because I think with the threat of Clot, fast advancing is a bit more difficult.
You need to be able to defend your agendas.
Yes. So Clone Chip is going to come out, bringing the Clone Chip into SMC into Clot game back on.
Yeah, we know a Parasite's in there.
Parasite is in there, yep. An interesting thing about leaving the, the Artist Colony is you can also use that for Clot. You can even use that for something like a Sacrificial Construct.
Yeah.
And pull that out right before they're going to purge.
Right, before they're going to purge.
Yes,
but
before they purge.
You can't prevent a trashing from like the Assassin, for example.
Exactly. So with David counters and some money, there is a Maker's Eye in hand. I think you could go onto R&D and see 4 cards. You definitely need to keep the agendas out of hand.
Yeah.
And, with 2 temples out, that is incredibly difficult. Run HQ, you could probably res something for free, not even a tempo hit for protecting.
Right. And NEH does not have they don't have a DBS out yet.
No.
So they're not going to get out of lock.
No, exactly. Unless they can draw through it with Jackson. But it's going to be very difficult.
That's right.
Stimhack is coming out.
Okay, Stimhack.
Let's hit R&D. So that's going to be 2 cards off the top. That is an Architect res for free. And that, without a Data Sucker, is an incredibly difficult piece of ice to deal with at this point.
That does hurt.
Yeah. Your options are to get a Mimic, if that's a thing. Get another Killer du jour.
Sure.
Or just actually pull out Admin 3?
Ugh.
Which is not elegant.
I don't want to see that happen, but it looks like they're going to Parasite something.
I think it's...
Clone Chip something.
Going to be Clone Chip into SMC. It's going to give you the option. And again, there you sacrificed your access to Clot. Just to make sure that the Architect doesn't fire. If this Architect fires, it can be really bad. It is last click. You do have a protected remote, but there isn't anything from Archives. You're really worried?
Right, yeah. There's only a hedge fund in Archives right now anyway.
So that's not too bad. That SMC is going to mutate into...
spending 8 of the 9 credits from Stimhack.
Just to hit... Yeah, that is...
that's an
admin at 3.
Cool.
But that's the thing with admin is once you do Stimhack and get it out, it is an incredibly efficient breaker.
Yeah, and Stimhack's a great way to do it.
Yeah, Stimhack is a good way to get that out. We're pretty sure that is an assassin there, and that cannot be res.
Can't be res. Not even necessarily worth being res right now.
Not so much. We're going to get some cards off the top, and it looks like wraparound into sweepsake. Not exactly what was hoped for.
That's too bad, but it does set up the Maker's Eye turn.
It does.
Unless,
next turn.
of course... Okay.
And Caddy Jones is there out.
Yeah, Caddy Jones has suffered from Kate's brain damage.
Yep. So Caddy is, I think, the way that Nadim has been dealing with long-term economy in terms of burst economy, which is something Kate might have been missing after losing all those lucky finds.
Yeah.
And in this matchup, it's very difficult to use on the basis that your clicks are super important. You have to set up and get those accesses as soon as possible.
Yes. You have to be as efficient as possible.
So that might not actually be the worst thing to see in the bin right there.
Okay. A little bit of restructuring.
Yep. So those cards are now all upgrades. Put them in one server. They're easier to protect like that.
Yep. That is a good point.
So not a lot of play space on these playmats. If you want to go asset spam, you usually have to stack some of these assets.
Yep, and we need to buy more widescreen cameras.
Yeah, wider
screen cameras.
Wider. Throwing down those cards drew up the we know there's a sweeps week in hand.
That's right. We saw the sweeps week.
So if you spam another remote, you get another card draw into the runner's hand, and the sweeps week lands for massive money, abusing the Astrolabe.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
No, that's the downside of Astrolabe. 2 more cards in hand. The brain damage does help a bit.
There we go. He's in the sweeps week combo.
Bullet is sweeps week for, I think that should be 5 credits, so we'll see if that gets fixed.
Yeah. Boy, that economy.
And now, again, the Mumbo Temples are online. That assassin is going to come up for only 3 credits.
Yep.
And you need to stop that. You need to get R&D lock.
Yep, you really do.
I don't think Alex is running fast tracks. This game is going to be an R&D. I think we're going to hold here. We have something different.
Something is happening.
And it looks like it was just sweeps weeks being corrected.
Oh, yes, okay.
And we are back off again. So, that's... You really kind of want to break your back to get an agenda if you're playing the Artist Colony.
Yep.
Because at any point in time, you can tutor out a solution to a nasty piece of ice, to a fast advance. But you do need fuel for that. Would you sacrifice a Beal to stop an Astro? I think you would.
Yeah.
But
I think I would.
I think you would. However, I have
an
no
Astro
doubt.
almost means the game. In many cases.
Easily could. But I think Kate might be the most well-built to deal with that.
Sure.
But we have entered a weird spot. If agendas get into that remote, it's probably not going to go that well for the runner. It's 2/3 to 1/3.
I don't know about that. I mean, as long as he can keep up the money, he's got the David.
Yeah, he does have the David. It's just 3 credits and then a side game, which is honestly not too bad.
No.
It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Nadim...
You know what? Those Moomba Temple credits don't help with the side game. If you can ruin the economy on the other side, then...
Yep. That economy can only be used to res stuff. And it looks like we might be able to res some cheeky stuff right here. Another team sponsorship and a launch campaign.
Sure,
so
why not?
We're going to get 3 credits there at the top of the turn with the pad. And that is all the money you really need.
Yeah.
Ice is going to come up for little to no money. You don't need that much money to fast advance.
He can res that assassin, and it won't be a big deal.
It's not at all going to be a big deal. And we are back off again. All that free card draw. Just R&D, if R&D works out.
Yep.
Install into that server. Advance, and we're going to look for a timing window, and it looks like there's nothing Nadim can actually do.
Right, that Artist Colony has nothing to trigger off of.
There's no clone chip, no SMC, no instant tutoring, no Da Vinci, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Install advance, transfer token. We are on the moon.
We're on the train that goes to the moon.
Choo-choo. 4 points to 0. So far, Nadim's accesses have been kind of poor.
Yeah.
I guess we've seen 5 cards, 1 agenda. That's honestly not unrealistic, but could be better.
Yeah.
And with a team sponsorship, double team sponsorship, something else going into that remote.
Getting that efficiency.
If that's an agenda, that means it was hanging out in HQ. I think Nadim was a bit apprehensive of checking HQ on the basis that free money town, I guess, with that.
Right, yeah. You don't want to give him all those Moomba Temple credits to res ice.
So Alex there does something clever. He installs into a new remote first to see if he gets a better draw.
Interesting. I like
and
that.
then installs into the Caprice server.
He has the spare click anyway.
Yeah, you can do it.
It's good point.
It looks like we're gonna keep hitting those professional contacts. You gotta network. You really network.
You really do. Yeah, you have to network.
Gonna get some money, and another RDI is gonna come out with a modded for no credits.
Okay, cool.
We are setting up for a really powerful Maker's Eye RDI turn.
Yeah.
That's the thing about R&D is that this server doesn't cost a lot to break, and it looks like we're gonna go for it. Running last click does save you a credit on the Enigma.
Yep, and he's run on Archives, I think, to boost his data suckers?
Yep, 1 run on Archives, so 3 data suckers. If there's a CVS on the table, this is going to be a bit of a surprise. But it looks like...
It won't hurt that much.
Well, yeah, with David, it's not the end of the world, and we are good here. Looks like 1 David, 1 through Sucker, and then 1 more credit for the Enigma. It's going to see 3 cards.
Oh, no.
Double Sand into Wraparound is not at all what you wanted there.
Oh, but he has 2 more to see. Oh, no, this wasn't a Maker's Eye.
This wasn't a Maker's Eye,
of course.
No. So still whiffing there on R&D. There could easily be another card, another agenda in that remote.
And you definitely don't want to see Sands coming up for the Corp at this point. He's got the money to use.
He does have the money to use. It might not be the biggest deal, but still not good to see.
Yeah.
Let's see if what's in that remote. Nadim does have to discard down to 4 cards with that brain damage. And that's a good thing now on the Corp side is that Alex knows the top of R&D is good.
Yeah.
And if he does nothing, it's probably going to be okay for another turn.
Yeah, maybe not even install a new service for a little while.
Yeah, maybe you don't want to
just to make sure that those nothing cards stay there.
Yep. Still no tutor for any sort of fast advance hate. If there is an agenda in that server, you could just go for it. You can put yourself on 6 points.
Very easily.
Very easily. Even though that's a Beal, maybe you would advance it once, wait for next turn.
That's a good point.
But it looks like we're just going to go for that Beal.
Okay, just going to go for it.
Just 3 credits. That's going to fire 2 team sponsorships. I guess that is a benefit to...
2 team sponsorships.
Yep.
Ugh.
That's the benefit of not leaving it another turn. You get that activation, and you can really protect yourself at this point.
You really can. Put down some ice.
Put down an ice.
Like that.
That's a pretty good place to put down a piece of ice.
Put down maybe a breaking news or something in there.
And that could easily be another agenda.
It could be any agenda, really.
Even if it's a 4-2, you can score that with the Astro token.
True.
So if that isn't an agenda... Nadim still has a good shot off of R&D. If that is, contesting the remote isn't that difficult. You do need a bunch of money, so you probably only have 1 shot at it.
That's right.
Proco is, you can tell, a lot slower.
Yes.
It is definitely favorable against a food codes type matchup, something a lot slower where the games are going to
Even as a Montreal player, sometimes I have difficulty putting Proco in my decks.
Yeah, that's
true.
I
know I get the stares from other Montreal players. They say, "What are you doing? Is that symmetrical visage?"
Yeah, that's true. And it looks like we're just going to take a whole bunch of money.
Oh,
we
boy.
have 5 credits, which 5 credits is all you need to run R&D.
Yep. And there we go.
Maker's Eye is going to see a boatload of cards.
Yeah. Maybe even going to take the net damage from...
Yeah, you could.
No, he's not. He's not in this case.
So the question is it possible to win the game? If there's an agenda in there, Nadim has to access 7 points of agendas, and you know what? It is.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, Alex is going to shuffle Jackson, which we knew the top 2 cards of that deck were safe.
Right.
And now there's 2 more cards in the deck that are safe.
He's dilating,
but he has
diluting the
shuffled.
deck, not dilating the deck.
So the deck has been shuffled. If Nadim can get...
That was really risky.
Yeah, actually pretty risky. If Nadim...
In fact, totally unnecessary, right?
I don't think it's the best move at this point. So Nadim just has to hit... There's not many agendas left in the deck. But if he hits a whole bunch of them...
If he hits a whole bunch, he's going to see 5?
We are going to go for the Montreal good access fist bump.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. 5 cards off the top.
Card number 1. Nope.
That's a miss.
That's
into an Archangel.
It's an Archangel.
That can be fired. If this is the last turn, there's not really that much a point. Into another ice.
No. How are there no agendas in this so far?
Into a CVS. That is a full whiff and a wipe of Data Suckers. If this isn't the last turn... It doesn't seem
fair.
This is going to be really, really rough. Those all go back in that order.
Are you sure you fist bumped him right?
No, I did. I've been practicing. That's good. And that is the last
game.
deal.
Well, good job.
And there you go. The MultiZone Store Championship. We have Alex taking it all the way to the 2nd game of Grand Finals in an absolutely brutal NEH setup.
Yeah, Montreal put up a great show, though.
Yeah,
it really challenged these Ottawa players.
So I think that the 2 of them did match up in top 8 and probably else on Swiss. I'm interested to know how those games went before.
Yeah.
With those 2 Mamba Temples, Alex was done for money.
Yeah.
I remember on the car ride home from Gatineau, I think we were only talking about Temple. We were so impressed about the kind of savings that Alex could afford to res Toll Booth, Assassin, and all these really hefty ice in a deck that is a fast advance deck.
Yeah, it was great.
Actually, not even that much of a fast advance deck. I think it only runs 2 Sands, which is pretty impressive.
Cool.
But excellently played, Alex. Really well played, Nadim. Coming all the way from losers brackets, working all the way to the 2nd is a really good showing.
Yeah.
Repping the Kate after most wanted list. Very interesting to see Atman still holding its weight.
Oh boy.
Well, hey, thank you so much for following this the MultiZone Store Championship. Stay tuned. We have more Store Championships coming up real soon.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
So bad.
Temple.
Caprice. So bad. No.
Temple.